Hi, everybody. My name is Todd Hobin, and I am lucky enough to have written a whole lot of music for this guy, Bill Muench, that you're going to meet. He is a wonderful director and a great storyteller, and he created one of the most beautiful documentaries, an award-winning documentary on a really fascinating topic, the artist and the astronaut. And you're going to meet as we explain who these wonderful people were, original astronaut and one of the great artists in America. Uh, I'm lucky. I just get to play rock and roll my whole life, and Bill asked me to write some music. And the good thing about all this is I lived through all the stuff that was in the film, and I played music through all those eras, so it was kind of easy to conjure up the whole, you know,
Well,
vibe.
I will call you out on one lie there. My name is Bill Mensch, and I directed The Artist and the Astronaut, and we wouldn't be here without Todd Hobin's music. Uh, I asked Todd if I could use one of his songs, and he said yes. And then he volunteered, and we'll find out in this podcast if he's still happy he volunteered, to write the music for the film. And since people who are watching this podcast know music, we're talking 93 minutes of music over 2 years. So that's quite a thing for you to do for the film, Todd. And we wouldn't be here talking to Jason and Tom without what Todd Hoban did. So I just want to say that. And I'm so excited to be here and can't wait to hear what kind of questions you got. Stump us. What do you got?
Yeah,
Okay,
go
we're,
ahead.
we're going to start off with some easy ones. First of all, who came up with the concept of doing this about these guys? What a great, this documentary is amazing. And the second question would be, how long did it take to shoot it and film it and stuff like that? Because I'm sure the listeners will want to know that too. So let's talk about the concept first and then the length it took to shoot it.
So I live in Manchester, Vermont, and the artist, Pat Music, and the astronaut, Jerry Carr, moved to Manchester, Vermont, and that's where they wanted to live. They had been living in Arkansas. I got to know them as friends. This is the short version, so we can get through other things. But on Pat's 90th birthday, I said to my wife, somebody should make a movie about these two people. They're like Forrest Gump. They're showing up at every major event. And Pat's 90, so we better get on it. And my wife said, you should do it. So during my last 6 years of teaching and coaching basketball, I worked on the film on the weekends and put the film together. And that's what I had until Todd came on board. When I sent Todd the film, I had all royalty free, which really isn't royalty free, or songs that I thought would be great in the film by famous musicians. And when Todd looked at it, he realized that I couldn't use any of that music and that he volunteered to score the film. So that's the Reader's Digest version. I do want to add one thing. Todd played my senior prom,
Oh, you're killing me, man.
and uh, he's only 1 year older than me, but he played it. And we both graduated from the same college. Uh, we didn't know each other, and I reached out to him as a fan. And that's really important because it just tells you what kind of guy Todd Hoban is. Because I reached out to him as a fan, not somebody who expected him to do anything. And then he put 2 years of time into this film and has spent the last 2 years with me traveling the country screening this film. And we're just blown away by how much people have responded to this project.
Nice, excellent. Very, Jason, you got a question for him?
Yeah, I wanted to share with Todd. Tom sent me a copy of the movie to watch, and while I was watching it, next day I share with Tom over the phone that, hey Tom, I love the documentary. It's a great story and everything, but I got to tell you, the first thing that really kind of caught my ear, if you will, was the music. And I told him it's interesting. Typically, you watch a documentary film, and maybe you're paying half attention to it, and you walk away from it or stuff and go to the bathroom. But I was just so, first of all, the music was the first thing that got my attention. I was telling Tom, the music is so upbeat that not only am I paying attention to music, but I'm just sitting there in my seat the whole time, not even getting up to go to the bathroom because the music is so upbeat, paying attention to the film. And it's just amazing. Your music is such a big part of the film.
Oh, thank you very much, Jason. I really appreciate that. And those of us that know music, you know all the eras
Yeah.
and space, that was the 60s. And then there's music from the 50s and the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, right up to current. And I was able to really kind of draw on some of my history and some of the great artists that I've played with over the years to kind of capture the style of the era. And, you know, there are some sad moments in the film. That is life, but a lot of it is just these two lovebirds that found each other later in life. It's a beautiful blessing to just witness their life, and it's such a pleasure to go. I know what I want to play here, man. And man, I know what I hear, and uh, it was kind of like. I keep telling Pat music. By the way, she's still alive and kicking. She's 96 now.
98.
What? She's 98?
98 and called me this afternoon and was kicking me in the butt to get more screenings. So she's doing
Oh,
great.
that's awesome. 98. She doesn't play 98. She plays like, I don't know, 59 or something, right? And she's still doing art. She's an amazing person and a real inspiration for me. Just it was a pleasure to do. So I'm really glad you like the music.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand you and Tom know each other. You guys mind sharing that story?
Oh yeah, we go back. We go back a ways. I get to watch him play every once in a while, and the band. And then just this last, a few months ago, we played a show together, which was a blast. Got to play together.
Okay, Tom, why don't you take it?
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit with Bill about, let's talk about some of the awards, the film festival awards this film's already got, and where they're from. Let's talk a little bit about that if you could.
Well, what's beautiful about film festivals is the laurels. It's nice to get awards, and that's all very nice. But the main thing for us, you get one of those, and it's credibility. It's people who watch films that are saying, there's something here, and we've won awards in Berlin, in Barcelona, in Australia, in Iceland. These are good film festivals. The Berlin one is particularly good because it is a Academy Award film festival. You can get through it, and the point is we're sitting at the big kids table. That's all. And I think we're in 15 states now that we've done screenings, and I'm looking at the cover, and there's I think 8 states where we won awards and went to film festivals to promote the film. So I don't know if that answers your question, Tom, but it's
Absolutely, absolutely. So Todd, let's talk about writing of the music. You did such a great job. I know you're a great songwriter, but what a feat it was to write this whole soundtrack. I mean, I can't wait till we put it out, but what a feat. Let's talk a little bit about that.
I'm very fortunate that my son Brett, who plays in my band, and we've been bandmates for a long, long time, also runs the studio. And frankly, without him, his blessing, and his hard work, the score wouldn't have happened. So, I come into the studio in the morning and I go, I gotta write some string and horn parts. And I want to record these parts. And we're going to bring in, some singers, and we're going to bring in some guitar players, and we got to do drum tracks. And it's like, he never said, oh, Jay, here we go again. It was always, all right, let's do it. Let's make this happen, and without that kind of a blessing, nothing happens. As you know, in the music business, it's a team sport. It is a team sport. You got to have a band. I have one that's great, and backs me up 100%. And in the studio, if you don't have engineering, if you don't have a good producer, you're lost. And so Brett was really the one who not only produced all the music, but he also took all the audio. Our team did, actually, the whole studio team took all the little pieces of audio, the interviews, live action stuff, rockets taking off, everything. And we peeled it off, sometimes 3-4 microphones on a scene. So we've got all these different layers of audio, and we cleaned it all up. And I tell you, my team was great. I'm just thrilled with them that they got took the time to go through and buff up, clean every frame so that the audio is crystal clear. And of course, the music, it's a good mix. It's just a great mix.
Excellent. Go ahead, Jason. I'm sure you got some questions.
Yeah, I got a question for Todd. Now, Todd, in regards to the music, I mean, whose idea was it to officially release the soundtrack? I asked that because I'll be aging myself here, because typically, unless you're talking to something like, let's say, Saturday Night Fever, where it's got all these artists, the Bee Gees, and everybody knew at the time, you don't see something like that happen typically. And I love the fact that you're putting this great music out there. And I just love to know, was that your idea to put it out along with the film, or Bill's? But let's talk about that, because I think it's a cool decision to put it out there.
Okay, inside story, and you can relate to this, you guys, and all you music people out there, you'll get it. So somebody says, here, we've got this scene, where we're flying to the moon. We've landed on the moon. Everybody's euphoric. It's a great, great scene. Lasts about, I don't know. Actually, the whole scene was maybe 20 seconds. But popping out of it at the very end, you need to have the rap, and I heard it. We're dancing in the moonlight while they're walking on the moon, right? And I wrote this song, but I only wrote that much of it, right? So we start touring. We're winning awards for the film, and people are going, "Hey, that song, Dancing in the Moonlight or Earth Rising, where can I buy that? Where is that song?" And so Bill and I look at it. Okay, Brett, we got a problem. We got 15 seconds of like 7 songs. We got to write the rest of those 7 songs and put them out there. And literally, that's how it happened. It was not an afterthought, but basically the songs were not complete. They were just written for the film. So we had to go in. I was very lucky. One of my best friends is Bruce Coville, and he's a great author, wonderful lyricist. And he and I were working on a rock musical for Broadway, right? We're actually going to probably record it at Abbey Road a little later this year. So I'm working with Bruce on that. And I said, Bruce, maybe you could help me write some of these songs, because we got to turn them pretty quick. And so Bruce Cole joined our writing team, Brett and me. And, we were able to put these songs out. One of the songs, by the way, the only one that's not the one that I wrote with Brett or Bruce, was a song that I had produced for Irv Lyons Jr. And you guys know Irv. Irv Lyons Jr. is a great Native American artist. He is unbelievable, right? And so he wrote this incredible song called Save the Planet. And Pat Music is, and Jerry too, they were very much about health of the planet. When you fly above the earth and you live up there, he was up there for 84 days, looking down at Earth. And he was one of the first people to do that, longest flight ever back then. It was a long, long time ago. And he's looking down at the Earth, and he did a spacewalk. Bill, how many hours was that? It was
7 hours on Christmas Day.
Yeah, 7 hours. This is the first time in history that somebody's out in space for 7 hours walking. And he just leaned back and looked at the earth, changed his life, So they're environmentalists, and God bless Irving, he wrote this incredible song called Save the Planet. And he brought one of our friends in to sing on it, Joanne Shenandoah. And it was the last recording she made.
Wow. Todd, I got to tell you, I'm sure as a musician, the guy behind all the music, that's got to be a great feeling that initially it's just going to be like just songs, a few minutes, seconds long. And then the demand of the people when they hear your music are like, no, we want more. I mean, that's got to be a great feeling.
A little bit of terror, and yes, it was a great, great feeling, because I said, yeah, sure, the album will be coming out soon, and the songs weren't written yet. So,
and one quick question for you, Bill. In regards to the movie itself, it's a great story. You could have just gone and done a great story on the life of Jeff Carr, because he was an astronaut. But both these people, Jeff and Pat, it's kind of about the second chapter of each of their lives. You know, they were married before, they had families before, they come together, they meet as their friends, they end up marrying. And I love the fact that you could have just talked about Jeff's career as an astronaut, but you talk about how Pat got him into art. And again, you know, kind of the final part of his life. But what a great story.
Well, yeah, and you're right, and your enthusiasm for the film means a lot because I think this film is going to mean more every year that we get away from these people being around. But Jerry was an engineer, and he liked to make things work, and I loved making. One of my favorite stuff in the film was filming Jerry welding and filming him in his truck picking up things and stretching canvases. I mean, the guy loved it. And in the film, there's a line where Pat says, I have an idea. And Jerry goes, how much does it weigh? And that was funny, but it was actually his, all right, how are we doing this? Because Pat worked with large sculptures. And without Jerry, Pat wouldn't have been able to do the large sculptures that she did later in her life because you needed an engineer to come up with it, which is really cool. And I didn't deep dive in the film with that because there's so many off ramps, but I hope that people saw that he became really such a partner with her because he was an engineer. And it could have been the engineer and the artist, you know, but the idea of STEM, which is so important now, and understanding how important music is in education and these things, that how they apply to the rest of the world, you know, we're starting to understand that much better. And, you know, an engineer and an artist makes total sense is the point. If you're going to make a good recording of all these songs, you need the artistic piece, and then you need the geek behind the board to see it. And all of those, it's like Todd said, the best part about this, it's a team sport. Filmmaking is a team sport. You know, we're not here today if Todd didn't jump on board. So
Sure. Take it away, Tom.
Sure. Why don't we talk a little bit about the release dates that are coming up? It's going to be released everywhere in the world. It's going to be physically and digitally. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I think our date is September the 19th.
Yes. Yeah.
Oddly enough, I got a show that night, so we'll have to really, you know, take a bunch of CDs and DVDs to the show. It's actually a really good show. I'm opening for Two Mule, Greg T. Walker, great freaking bass player and legendary Blackfoot. He also, you know, was a bass player in Leonard Skinner. You know, so this guy, he's for real. So we're gonna have a real nice house, and also it's that group of people. And I don't want to say we're like older, but the same people that, you know, dig that kind of Southern rock, you know, music, they were alive. They remember when Jerry Carr was in space. They remember landing when we landed on the moon and the Challenger disaster. You know, that Jerry's son Jeff was actually Krista McAuliffe's guy, you know, the one who trained her for the flight, you know, the flight of the Challenger. By the way, it's all in the film. We're finding that a lot of people, schools, you know, they want to bring the film to students who didn't live through it, you know, didn't live through all this stuff. It's not ancient history, but it's pretty old. And here we go again. We're launching human beings, not up into space, you know. We're planning on the moon, Mars, I don't know. These first people to do it, the ones that went up, the pioneers, they were flying to the moon with a computer that didn't have a nickel's worth of intelligence compared to what we all carry in our pockets now. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So back to the date that we're going to release this film. An important date for a lot of reasons, but September the 19th, we're going to release the film. The CD is also coming out then as well, right? And again, worldwide, so people can purchase it online and get it immediately. We'll be streaming so they can see the film Will probably be on Spotify and all those other platforms so they can go out and sample some of the music. Speaking of the music, there are a few of the orchestral pieces on the CD, so that it's not only the songs from the film, but also some of the heroic orchestral things that sort of, brought the film along.
I feel like Vanna White for you, Todd.
Oh, that's really
There
nice. I
you go.
like that. Yeah. Picture of Brett as he often is at the console with his bass on,
There he is.
Yeah, he's pretty cool, that guy.
It's also coming in on DVD too. They'll be able to buy the DVDs. And if you're in Europe, Japan, wherever you're at, that DVD we'll ship it to them for them.
Yeah, we will.
Well, it's
Happily so.
beautiful. I mean, look at how gorgeous. I mean, I just love the work that was done. Um, the poster is amazing because this piece of art is actually a giant piece of art called Ra, and it's the sun. And of course, that's Jerry's spaceship. And then a beautiful part in the back. But what's fun is one of my students made the movie poster. And once Todd and I saw it, we're like, that's it. I mean, now it was a matter of just moving letters around. But the idea of this has signatures on it. This one has Pat and Todd made, but the sun, which is the art, and Pat and Jerry's spacecraft. It's just pretty cool.
Excellent. You know what? Are you do you want us to sell some of those autographed ones? You always charge a premium price for that. Is that something you guys think about doing? Autographing them?
We'll definitely have that. The funny thing is, I remember when I was making the film, Pat was 90 years old, and I said, I got to get her interviewed. And then when she was 98, we went to Brown's Brewery in Troy to have a flight of dark beers. And she's already preparing to release her autobiography and memoir in September of this year, which is her 99th birthday. So our release date is in Pat's 99th birthday month. So it's absolutely appropriate. And Pat has signed all these. So to answer your question, yes, we'll have a bunch of these, which is pretty exciting, especially when you get to watch the film. You're going to go out and want to see what her art looked like and what other music Todd Hobin is making. I mean, seriously, those two things are important.
Excellent. Jason, go ahead. I know we're getting along on time.
Let me ask you, Todd, have you given any thought to putting out a music video or two in association with this?
Oh, yes, of course. We have one music video, Earth Rising, that's out. We'll be promoting that. And then we're talking about Dancing in the Moonlight. It's one of Pat's favorite songs. And shooting a music video. And we're gonna, this is kind of fun actually, because the storyline is that, and I remember this, watching I got young me and my girlfriend dancing in the moonlight while they're on the moon, right? Actually walking on the moon. We got separated, and then the story comes, we come back together, and here I am dancing with my wife, right? It's kind of a cool thing. And so we were looking for a young boy to play me, age, I don't know, I think I was 19, right? 20, I was 20. And I got a grandson that looks just like me. And I said, hey, can you do some acting for me? And so my grandson's going to play me 50 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. And for Bill, I want to ask you, Todd makes a great point that a film like this, what I love about stuff like this is I could see this being shown to school kids and then, as a, part of their science class or something, and something might not typically be into science, but watch a film like this and they get into science because of Todd's music. For example, a great example of that is a lot of people would not even know who Nikola Tesla was, and I include myself in this, if it wasn't for a band from Sacramento,
That's right. Solid. 100%.
I'll let you wrap it up, Tom. Yeah.
It's very interesting when we do these screenings to see the different reactions. When it says teacher in space, anybody our age, the air comes out of the room. When it's younger kids and it explodes, they're blown away at how dangerous space is.
Excellent. So before we go, why don't we talk about your websites, where they can find you, and Todd, where they can get your music? Let's talk about the movie first.
Sure, Bill.
So it's real easy. It's got a great title, The Artist and the Astronaut. So if you just write out the artist and spell out and theastronaut.com, you'll find us. It's very easy to find. And then once we get our ducks in order, we will be putting all that material of where they can get the films. We'll be putting that right on our website before the release date. We'll have it there ready to go.
Excellent. We'll get you all the pre-sale links and stuff too.
Right, and they can get the soundtrack album either from that site or from toddhobin.com. Either way. And then Tom, you and I are going to talk about not only how we're going to get all that stuff out there and where it's going to be, but we'll be hitting social media really hard so that people know how to get a hold of us. If you can look up, Artist and the Astronaut, you'll find us. The other thing, Tom, I got to tell you, next month, actually a couple of weeks, Bill and I are on another adventure. It's another documentary coming down the pike. I can't wait to tell you about that one.
Excellent. Looking
The
forward
adventure
to it.
continues.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. When you get ready for the next one, we want to have you guys back on again. This will come up in a few weeks. We're really excited to have this out there for you guys.
Cool. Thank you so
Thank you,
very
guys.
much.
So good meeting you.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
See you, Tom. See you soon.
Thanks, folks.